Okay, ciao ragazzi. Welcome to JSG podcast. As for today, the episode number 3, as usual, we have a special new guest to our show. But before that, let me remind everybody every week we're gonna have a new episode and new guests. But before we start with the episode, I would like to shout out to Juventus. As you all know, justice has been prevailed. We get 3 points versus Napoli. That is so fucking good. So today we'll discuss about the formation, the new signing, and most of all is the next match against Crotone. For today, our special guest is Najib from the Juventus Club Singapore members. So Najib, welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. So,
Thank you for having me.
thank you for taking your time to appear in our show. So, as usual, every guest I would like to let you introduce yourself and how everything started with Juventus.
Okay, I've been a Juventus club member since 2012. I think. That's when one of the founding members of the Juventus club put in. When he told me there was actually a fan club in Singapore, so I was very excited. to join the club.
But before that, how do you get to know this beloved club of ours?
I think
I mean the Juventus club.
Juventus club. Okay,
Not Singapore, it's the Juventus football club.
Okay, I saw Del Piero play on TV, I think, when I was 16
Okay.
or 16 or 17, I think. I was very mesmerized, I was very impressed by his style. Then after that, I started to play this computer game,
okay.
So that's where I got to know the club. I would say better in a way, but not in depth. But from then on, as I got to know the club more and more, I was really, I would say, the club represented the values that I have within myself. Something like the determination to win and the style of play, their grit, their determination. I think that was something I really identify very well. So the love of the club grew gradually from that point onwards. And of course, seeing Del Piero from being injured to being a player that was a protagonist, I think that cemented my love for the club. I think that was, and how they eventually progressed from Serie B and where we are now. I think I was proud to be a fan of this club. I think if you see that we won the Scudetto in 2011, I think that was validates what Juventus is as a club.
So I can say that your favorite player will be Del Piero.
Always will be the player.
Okay. So as you can see from the past until now, I think now it's much more privileged where we can watch the Serie A games on TV. But in the olden days, time, because we are the minority, the majority in Singapore always focus on the APL. So, are you shocked to see that there are lots of Juventus fans in Singapore too?
Yes, of course. I mean, I thought it was a very niche market in Singapore for Singaporeans to actually like Italian clubs, if any. So when I got to know people like you, people like Farah, I think that from other members, I was very happy that the following in Singapore is very healthy and very passionate.
Okay. So like me, Farah, Dogana, you say Dogan, and Adu,
Yes.
and there's a lot of several
I'm really,
members.
I'm really glad that I met these people because I think we have a very common interest and I think it's interesting to see that people actually like the same things that you like. So we can always have something to talk about. I think it's
Okay, thank you for sharing your experience and how everything was started.
yeah.
Okay, then now, are you happy with the current squad now? First, we touch about the coach.
Yeah.
Are you happy that Juventus appointed the maestro become our coach?
To be honest, I was quite skeptical when the news came out that he was appointed as the first team coach. Given that he has no experience coaching the first team. Um, but given what I've read about him and watched about him on TV, I know this man is a very intelligent person and he is somebody who analyzes the game, who knows the game very well. So I believe he will succeed eventually. So I think and the way how he knows the club, I think he will do him a lot of to give him a lot of advantage. So and I find a legend being the coach of the club, I think would do well for us. I think for as a fan, I think we have to be patient with him as he figures out how he wants to translate his ideas into future success for our club.
In that case, like the players will look up for a role model,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes.
Okay, so regarding about the latest signing,
Yeah.
do you think that we need more players or is it enough? Is enough. Let's focus on the play. They have to read it now. Don't focus more on the transfer. So, are you happy with the latest signing or the new signing that bringing young players to the club?
I was actually the club is actually doing something that I wish the club had done at least 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, like considering the kind of players that we have, I think the age, I think like previously we had players like Steiner, so but then afterwards we don't have really a replacement for him. So this kind of renewal is important. I think like bringing people like Western, Kenny, I think like Kuseski, Antonello, all these um, are very important for us. I mean, like I think we need the new blood to like I would say reinvent the way that we play. I think like I believe that if the management wants us to progress in terms of the way we play, like, we need to introduce youngsters who can actually inject new ideas and new passion to the club. I think that was important. That's important.
But with the new administration or reshuffle or management, the new coach, are you surprised that we did focus more on young talent nowadays?
I think if the fan was to follow how the management worked from the time that we were promoted from Serie D, like, they were very progressive in terms of how they saw what can work and what cannot work. I think that we have to give credit to them that they are very their business acumen in that sense was very good. They know when to change and when they need to improve rather than stick to an old model that is not working. Like you can see from the other clubs, they are really struggling to follow the model that Juventus has, in terms of making money. So I think the current president, Amelie, I would say he's a very good businessman. I think we have to give credit to him. He's not afraid to change when other presidents, I believe, would be reluctant to change the way how things are managed.
So if you give it the chance,
Yeah.
what formation that you want them to play?
I'm always
Are you going to stick the formation that you choose? Are you going to change?
if I was manager, I think I will have to see what kind of players I have. I think right now, for me as a fan, I always adopt the idea that the people who run the show know the best. So, but for me, classically, personally, I always like 4-4-2. think that is always what I like. I think that, but that's more to like my personal. But I looking at how Juventus right now plays. I think 3-5-2. It's a good starting point. I think it makes full use of the defenders that we have. I mean, like, I know that the defenders that we have right now is quite old, but given the midfielders are young and then the wing backs are also quite young, if you don't count like and, the others, but I think we can go with 5-2.
So we have how to say a lot of talented players.
Yes.
Everyone wants to play in
Yeah.
the first team.
Yeah.
So, for example, if the coach decide not to rotate, if, for example, like what we see Sari, you can see the same players again and again and again until they get injured.
Yeah.
So you don't have any replacement.
Yeah.
So as for now, do you think some of the players will be happy to be benched, or because everyone wants to play in the first team? So how will you handle that if you have become the coach of Juventus?
I think this is where the skill of the manager in terms of man management comes in. I think as a manager, I believe you cannot run away from the fact that you have to communicate very well to your players.
So it means
Yeah.
it means that it's a risk that you cannot please everyone.
Yes.
Okay, that's what you believe in. You decide what's the best for the team. So that's it. Every players have to, because now with Pirlo, everyone have how to say full confidence in him. Whatever he wants, whatever he thinks, because he had shown in the field. Okay, so okay, so next game, this is Crotone. Okay, what formation would you like to see, and who are the players you give the chance to choose with the current squad? We will go for the formation first. What's the ideal formation to play with Crotone?
I think I will give the 3-5-2 another go. I think because in between the goalposts, refereeing setting, I think he's always been consistent. I think setting well. I think I will go for Chiellini.
But Chinese is injured.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So you
you
will see Demiral will play.
Yeah, Demiral, Danilo. Honestly, I'm kind of not keen to give somebody like Bonucci run of play, because unless you can show that he can be consistent, I mean, I would say this personal opinion. I don't really like him to play first team. Like, to be honest, like people like Demiral or like if Rugani was around, like, I mean, honestly, I would give him a good run of games to really see what he really made of before the management actually really like decide to like transfer him. Unfortunately, he really left us, right? So they have to accept that. So
I would say it's good for him because he can have a lot of time or a lot of opportunity to play.
So we will have Mira, Bonucci.
So if for example Dilip is available, you will put Dilip and we take out or remove Bonucci from the position.
I think I will definitely put Dilip. I think for me, like my preference is for the team to be made up of mostly youngsters. I mean, like, if you look at Lampard right now, I mean, like, Fabrota is very promising in terms of how he can give to the team. I think since we are fine, we are in a match with a so-called lower level team. Like, I think giving the youngsters opportunity to show what they can produce, I think they will be good.
So how about the position where Danilo plays now? Lots of how to say viewers, lot of media saying, why are we putting Danilo instead of Demiral in that position? So just to share with you, the last two games, you will say he does plays good on that position. He can goes up, he can goes down. But do we have players as for now to be in that position, or we have to stick with Danilo throughout the campaign?
I think Danilo, I think from what the games have shown, right, he's more of a centre back than other fullback. I think he's more capable as a centre back. That's why he's good at what he does. And I say, I mean, like if Pirlo decide that he's the better player to be on the field, then who are we to argue, right? So I think if he's proven that he can be consistent, I'll say let's go for it.
So are you agree me that we need to rotate players every game? We need to not 100% rotation, but maybe just a bit here and there.
I think if the run of games is going to be like what it was like towards the end of last season, where there's a lot of games, like, I think it's something we have to expect where they have to rotate. Otherwise, the fatigue and the injuries just can
because we have a capable current squad and substitute. Everyone's ready to go, ready to show their skill and what they may of. Okay, now before we go to the prediction, as you can see, or you already heard, or you received from the media, from news regarding about this nation league. So is it a good idea? Because after you can see, after a while, there's lots of players was infected with COVID-19. This nations league really, how to say, must, or should they step back when everything has cooled down? Because you can see a lot of players from any other countries got infected by this. So what's your thing?
I think the Nations League should take a step back. I think right now, right, because of the COVID-19 situation, right, where we actually don't really know who is infected or who's a carrier. So making sure that the players actually stay in one country, I think would actually do better. I mean, like if let's say we come to the situation where too many teams have too many players affected, they cannot even play the games, right?
That's right. We cannot how to say, to be in a lockdown situation again. Everything have to be cancelled, because now we are back to a normal stage. When fans already being allowed to go to the stadium, players can play, the league can start. But as you see now, things are going back to the first lockdown, and I hope it won't happen. That is where there's a lot of steps need to be taken. Like for example, as you say, the nations need to be more up first. Okay, once everything is settled down, then we can start.
I think for that matter, right, I think even the internationals also like friendly.
Yes, I would agree.
Because the I think even right now you can see like the number of games that the players are playing, right, it's like because they don't even have the rest from the season break. They are getting even like injured more easily now.
Like for now, like Juventus will play Crotone away. Then after two or 3 days is the Champions League. Yes, we will start. So there's a lot of fatigue from the player, getting a rest. But we are, how to say, we are lucky that we have a lot of great and skillful players are ready to take in when there's someone who's dead. Okay, then what's your prediction? Juventus Crotone, because Juventus will be away Crotone. You can see people already know that CR7 will not play that match.
I think a 3-0 would be achievable. I think there's something I can.
But that is my prediction too, 3-0. That's right. Okay. So before we end this podcast, thanks again for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, guys. Let's shout out to the subscriber, the viewers who have like or share this channel. Thank you so much for everything. Then we will see you on the next episode, the week after, for episode number 4. Okay, from us, ciao ragazzi, fino alla fine, forza Juve.